Are you finding this hot real estate market frustrating?
Moving forward with the DekkerTeam. Moving forward together with the DekkerTeam.
I'm Yetta Dekker.
And I'm Candace Dekker St. Louis.
And we're so excited that you're joining us again on another episode of The Inside Track, where we share and explore ideas and tools and techniques of really how to make the most out of the home we're living in, how to make the most out of the house that we might want to turn into home, and really making the most of our life in general. So we're going to chat today primarily about that whole concept of, does it have to be frustrating to you if you're a buyer? Sellers love this market, and we would propose that maybe love this market as a buyer, maybe extreme way to say it. And yet we believe you can thrive in this market, in this hot summer market, and keep your cool, even in a competition. Candace, what have you been finding? Like, what do you know that people need to hear so that they can remain cool in this heat?
Yeah, it can be a frustrating experience for a buyer in this market for sure. I often hear from buyers that are calling off of our signs that aren't committed to a realtor and navigating this by themselves. Those are the ones that are quite frustrated, missing out, not able to jump on a property right away. They're going off the MLS system, the public system. And so it's delayed up to anywhere from a couple hours to 2 days. And conditionally sold properties show as active. So then they're calling all these realtors that have the listings, and they keep saying, sorry, that's conditionally sold. Sorry, that's conditionally sold. So before they can even make a move, they're denied. And so it's just, yeah, that could be frustrating.
Could be?
Is.
I'm thinking it is. And is it a laughing matter?
No, really. I mean, the wisest thing is to have a professional navigate this with you. And then someone that's experienced and has strategy. So there's many different realtors out there. Make sure you have the right fit that you gel well with.
Right. So when you're talking about gelling, Candace, you're thinking about somebody that actually has a system.
Yeah.
Actually has a strategy.
Yes.
And is willing to explore that with you as a potential buyer. And maybe you're a seller too. So there's even more finesse required, right? Because you're navigating both the selling and the buying side of things. So making sure there actually is a strategy.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
I know often when somebody comes to us and they're thinking of making a move, if they haven't worked with us before or they don't know somebody that has, they might be choosing to do some interviewing.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
If they've worked with us before, it's not too much interviewing going on. It's really just, I want you to take care of me this time like you did
last time.
Exactly, which is fantastic. Or these are the things that have changed in my life and how can we do this differently? So it just becomes an engaging, amazing conversation to move them forward. And yet often people will choose, if they don't know a realtor, to do a little bit of interviewing.
Yeah.
If they're not sold out for somebody. And some of the questions they might ask would be around what?
It would be around what does your service look like? When are you available? It would be, do we work well together? So today I'm interviewing, or someone's interviewing me as a buying agent. It was an introduction from a past client of ours. And she said, you really need to work with my realtor. And so this buyer is like, okay, I'll meet her. And if I feel comfortable with her and that she can service me, then we'll work together. So that's what today's about. And I'm pretty confident we'll do just fine.
It went well, did it?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. And you managed to fit that in before we even recorded a show.
Yeah.
That's called dedication. So a strategy includes knowing where somebody wants to be, and yet sometimes people don't know where they want to be, especially if they're coming in from out of town.
Yes.
So what do you normally and typically recommend if it's possible?
Yeah. So one of my buyers recently, they are from out of town and they decided to come in. We talked about coming in before they were ready to see if Ottawa was for them.
Right. So they're not even sure they want to be here.
Yeah.
And then we had some others, you did as well as I did, who knew Ottawa was the place,
Yeah.
They just didn't know where in Ottawa.
Where in Ottawa? And Ottawa is a confusing city for someone coming out of town. I remember once having a military relocation buyer, and he was like, I want City of Ottawa. And I was like, okay, great. And he's like, I want a bungalow and I want Orleans. And so we almost bought one in Orleans. And then as he was coming to Orleans, he realized there's a lot of green in between Ottawa and Orleans, like downtown area. There's a lot of highway. He's not as central as he thought. So he actually ruled that out and went in Nepean, which is more central of Ottawa.
Right. So that's really helpful, right?
Yeah.
And then in terms of MLS, you alluded to this a little while ago.
Yes.
You talked about that by the time properties get onto the MLS, or even worse, onto the public search engines,
Yes.
so many of them are sold in what we call a hot real estate market.
Yeah.
Even July this year is still hotter than it would typically be in July, just because the inventory is down.
That's right.
Inventory is down. Demand is up a little bit because we've hit over 1 million people in our city,
Yes.
which is incredible. And so how can it help working with a guide in relation to properties that would be on MLS? Or are you telling me there's some that aren't on MLS?
Yeah, so there's some that aren't on MLS, some exclusively. We as the Decker team always list our properties exclusively before we launch them on MLS, which gives us a good prep time in order to launch it well. But we have inventory that's not out there yet. So there's access to that through us. And then also on the MLS system, the realtor side of things, there's only an hour or two delay, where the public system's up to 2 days. So we can be sending our clients great properties that just came in within an hour. So the other day, actually, my client texted me. It's 8:30 in the morning. And she's like, can we see this? By 10 o'clock, we had seen it already. It was 45 minutes away from me. So we moved heaven and earth almost to do that. And then by 11 o'clock, we had an offer in. So, and by 4:30, there was 5 other offers. So it is moving very, very quickly. And you have to be on top of it. You're not waiting to the weekend or after work to see a property.
Not if you're
Not
really
always.
a buyer.
No.
Not if you're like actually ready to go. If you're just getting a feel for the market, then go ahead, go to open houses, enjoy your leisurely Sunday afternoon drive. If you just want to get a feel.
Yeah.
If you're ready to go, please. Like, I mean, really, please. I could start begging here. I almost feel like I want to. And yet, if you're really ready to go, I would encourage you strongly, have an advocate. Have somebody that is aware of properties that aren't on the MLS, properties that will never hit the MLS. We have one coming up. Well, actually, I already have it, that will never hit the MLS. It's going to be sold while it's exclusive. It's going to be kept low key. It's going to sell because the market is such. We know what things should be priced for and what the strategies are. And, you know, the reasons for doing things differently are as numerous as there are things to do.
Yeah. And it depends on each buyer and seller.
It really does. Yeah. And what their needs are and what they can handle for showings and all that sort of stuff. And so we would encourage you, don't sit on it. Of course, we've done other shows that talk about how to be prepared so that when you find the right one, you can jump fast, right? So we're really, really grateful to be your partners on this journey and to be moving forward together. And there's a quote, I should have it memorized and I don't. So I am going to read today. And it's like opportunities are, I remember it now, opportunities are like sunrises. If you wait, you miss them. And that was said by William Arthur Ward. And I think he is brilliant.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.